Hey, what's good, YouTube? Fusion here, back with another reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to FanDuel, something new. Um, Michelle, Chandler Parsons, Lou Williams, and Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins. Three great players in their own right. Um, Very important players to their team and what they did bring to their team, so shout out to them. But I want to talk about this Chris Paul news. I really want to talk about what we are seeing from our stars and how the NBA is treating certain superstars. Now, I've always felt like that the Clippers have been, I don't know how else to say this, a poverty franchise. We always pretend that they're going to do something in the beginning of the season, in the regular season, all that. They play well during the regular season. Obviously, not this year. They suck this year. But over the previous years, that has been their thing, performing in the regular season. And they have only just been able to do that. That has been their peak. That is when that they are their best. The Clippers are at their best during the regular season. The reason that the Clippers are still considered the Clippers is because of Lob City, which in turn should um, require you to respect the pieces of Lob City. That includes Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. Now, the fact that Blake Griffin is looking to retire, is retiring, excuse me. Um, I don't know. Let me go back a little bit. I think the farewell tour Kobe, um, I think the Kobe farewell tour has confused a lot of stars into thinking they deserve that as well. That is sort of what happened with Paul Pierce. That's, I think, what we are experiencing with Chris Paul. Um, he is one of the few players that coined or that was called the point guard. That is where him, Magic. I'll throw in Jason Kidd, and I'm missing maybe two more names in that sort of point guard, quote unquote, conversation where it's all about playmakers and being the playmaker to make your team better. Of course, Chris Paul can score the basketball. There are nights where he was tasked. He was tasked. How was that tasked? Maybe that is right. With scoring, and he is a great mid-range shooter. He can shoot the three. That Rockets team would not have been that Rockets team without Chris Paul. We saw what happened when Chris Paul went down. Um, so there's an obvious lack of respect that the Clippers are voicing and showing to Chris Paul with this move. To straight up waive him, send him home during a road trip, just to be like, hey man, you're done. Nah, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I think that's a bad look for someone who was part of the Players Association, who I feel like should have that Players Association clout, who should have that at one point was the best point guard in the league clout. He should have that. He should have that respect. It sucks later on in the season or in his like career he really couldn't find his footing. I think there was a possibility where the Spurs he could have worked. I think there was a possibility with the Clippers he could have worked. I think he was. I don't know how else to say this. Like without sounding crazy or like cocky, he was born and bred to be a Laker. And since he was not a Laker and went to the Clippers, it sort of derailed his whole career. I think we were seeing him, seeing how he plays. It is very Magic Johnson esque. Of course, there's the height difference. I think that Chris Paul is a way, way, way better scorer than Magic. Of course, at that time, scoring was different. Um, so you introduced the Chris Paul with the Dwight Howard, with the Kobe Bryant. Kobe would have gotten more years out of himself, I think, because you have someone who is, I don't want to say a ball dominant point guard because there's no such thing as a ball dominant point guard. The point guard is supposed to have the ball 80 to 90% of the time on the court. Now, of course, that does change depending on personnel. I don't think Steph Curry has the ball as much as other point guards, but because of the way he plays, that makes sense. So when you account for all that, and when you see what Chris Paul could have been, you always have to wonder. But that's not that important to this conversation. I'm just saying that there should have been some respect put on Chris Paul's name. I don't know if he deserves or should get a farewell tour. I think only at this point, Steph, LeBron, and KD questionable with KD. I feel like he is a great. He will be considered a great. He will go down as probably one of the most deadly scorers of all time. But his league impact, I don't think is the same as the other two, Steph and LeBron. I don't think his league impact will truly be felt until 5 or 6 years down the line. His league impact is creating or evolving with. I'm talking about Kevin Durant here. Creating and evolving what Magic Johnson already brought. I think how the progression went was Magic Johnson letting a big sort of be the point guard, sort of control the game, sort of understanding that they have that ability. Going to Hakeem, which is all about footwork, showing a big can do footwork, can be and can show guard skills. You saw that with Hakeem, and then you see that now with Kevin Durant, who has basically fused both of them. Footwork and ball handling and semi athleticism, and has really taken that off. We are already seeing the next evolution of KD with Wemby. There are going to be more players like Wemby. There are going to be more players like that where I feel like Bol could have been that. I do think there wasn't enough time with like development. Giannis at one point, I feel like was being transitioned into that, but I think he took a back seat on developing a jumper to more so like develop his body, and I think that worked out better for him, developing his body than whatever the case, or his jump shot because of how he does play. That being said, he's paying for it now. He's paying for the lack of jump shot now, which could have been developed. But he's definitely paying for that jump shot now. But I did go off on a tangent. This should be all about respecting your stars and respecting the players who basically put the franchise on their back. So I think the Clippers need to do better. I think that they have not been doing okay as far as treating their players right. The Kawhi Leonard conversation was, or the Kawhi Leonard situation is very, very interesting how they're handling that. But we'll see. But that's pretty much all I got. Let's go ahead and get started with the video. This is 17 minutes long. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I may put 5 on it, but we'll see.
Back, Michelle, Chandler, Lou, Boogie, we had a rundown, and then I don't know what happened out there in Atlanta in the middle of the night, Lou, but you were on it, which, by the way, weird hours, and you immediately got on the text thread and said, I guess we're changing up the whole show, because in the night, the Clippers announced Chris Paul is no longer with the team. They're parting ways. He also posted a very sort of cryptic short post as well. In a statement, Lawrence Frank said, quote, "We are parting ways with Chris, and he is no longer on the team. We will work with him on the next step of his career." He also...
That is so foul. I just still can't fathom that. I think that the Lakers or the Pelicans should try to pick him up and sort of let him have a home to end his season. I think that is what either one of those teams should do, the Lakers, because I think he still wants to play, and I think there is still a play with him and LeBron. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think he'll ever contribute anything as far as championship-wise or stat-wise, but I still feel like he's a great player. He's going to perform, and he's a great leader. So his game is important, but his leading is also a part of what he brings to a team. Hopefully that's clear. I don't know.
Emphasize that no one is blaming Chris for the Clippers' struggles. Keep in mind they're out there in Atlanta to play the Hawks later on today. Lou, I'm going to start with you. You're our guy when it comes to all things Clippers. What the hell just happened, sir?
Yeah, just talking to a few different people over there and just trying to understand what transpired in the early morning hours of this team being in Atlanta. But from what I've gathered, that brought an end to this abruptly was there was a few scenarios, and which CP was holding people accountable from players to staff, from coaching staff up to the front office. And from what I understand, there was a situation where he even addressed the team and apologized and said, look, my criticisms are coming from a good place. I want us to be a good team. I want us to get this thing right.
Real quick, I think this is Chris Paul. The Chris Paul era, where I feel like era where he is from, where he is bred, like the type of player and the type of feel that he is, will not be able to work here. It will not work. I don't want to say that the NBA is soft now, because I don't think that's the case. I do think, however, that NBA fans don't really care about well, they care about winning, but it's a different type of winning. They don't care if like the team loses. They don't care if the team loses at all. If you get the stats you need, if you get the parlay you need, they do not care. So they are not holding players accountable as much as I think they did in the 90s, the early 2000s, maybe even the 2010 times. I do think that there is a different type or reason for fans to be getting upset. So when you see Chris Paul getting upset with the team, you got to understand this is him trying to make the team better. The problem is I think they're taking it way too hard. And you got to understand this Clippers team sucks. This looks like like 2 years ago when the Lakers signed like all those 35-year-old players. This is what this Clippers team looks like. They lost on Norman Powell, who I feel like was a very, very high point for them. Of their wasting Zubac, which is another high point for them. I don't think that Kawhi Leonard can hold anything at this point. I mean, he's going to play well. He's going to do what he does, but is he going to play? James Harden, he is still going to be James Harden. He's still going to get shots up, but we've already seen this is not winning basketball. You're not going to win a championship off of James Harden gameplay. So what is the Clippers going to do? They already got rid of a true leader. They already got rid of a vet. They already got rid of somebody who wants to win. Now what are they going to do? This is how you treat one of your franchise stars, one of the players that basically helped push and create the Clippers. This is how you're going to treat them? That's dog shit, first of all. And I'm hoping that other players come out and say something about the Clippers, because I don't think that's right at all. At all.
And he was just holding guys accountable. Now how some of that talk was taken or interpreted, that's up for the players and the coaching staff that was involved and how they felt about it. And then down the line, there was another scenario where he was critical of front office as well, and I think that was the one that broke the camel's back. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, when he had some criticisms for the front office as well. I think that's what brought this to a head in the early hours in Atlanta. Like I said, I'm in Atlanta. The Clippers are in Atlanta. It was about 3-something in the morning. For whatever reason, I was up, but I was up, and
we know why you're up. I might end it here, honestly. I don't think there's much else to say about the situation. I feel like this shows what the type of franchise the Clippers are. This shows what is like the norm or the standard when it comes to NBA teams, this seems to be how when they say the NBA is a business, this is another situation where the business is showing, and it's not a good look. I honestly think it sucks, and I don't think it's fair for Chris Paul, and I think it's a really just a bad take, bad look in my opinion, really bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if any team or players just see this and just like, I never want to play for the Clippers again, or I will never play for the Clippers. They're not taking care of their guys, man. They're not. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. We got daily videos all December. We've been posting, as you have seen here. I will be posting shorts every day as well. TikToks also, so make sure you guys are following us on the TikTok. I will leave the link in the description down below. Yeah, man. That's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.